Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, then thank you for joining me. So, as some of you may know, I'm completely obsessed with ballet. And if you watched some of my previous videos, I may have talked about it a little bit. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that last month, I started doing pointe. So I decided for today's video, I'm gonna show you what I keep inside of my bag. And I'll show you my pointe shoes and everything like that. I wanted to make a video that was sewing my pointe shoes because it would have been kind of relaxing, but it was really difficult and it took me like 4 hours, and I think I need to get better at sewing my pointe shoes before I make that video. So, but do not fear, there will be more pointe shoes after this first pair. That's how it works. You go from your first pair and then you keep changing into different pointe shoes. So I will be getting new ones that I will need to sew in the future. But for now, I will begin. So I guess I'll start with, this is my bag, and this was gifted to me from somebody I love so much named Lovely, and I put this little keychain on it as well. It's this really beautiful handmade bag with ballerinas all over it, and I think it's really cute. So that was a gift from Lovely, and I love it because it's really big inside, so I can hold everything, and there's tons of pockets, and it's very durable. So I guess I'll set it on the floor so that's easier. So to start, I will show you my pointe shoes. So, when you get your pointe shoes, they come completely unsewn. So you have to get elastic and then ribbon to keep them secure onto your feet. And then you sew those on. I sewed mine on kind of wrong, so the ribbons are actually supposed, I mean, based on from what I've seen other people do, the ribbons should actually be right here and the elastic should be right here. But honestly, it feels right the way I did it for my feet, so I think it's okay. So these ones are by Russian Pointe, and what's really cool about this ribbon is it stretches. And of course, this elastic also stretches, and it's a lot more rough. So some people will use 2 pieces of this elastic and crisscross it for extra support around the ankle. But the stretch ribbons also offer a lot more support. video that I thought I really wanted to make once I got pointe shoes that I realized I have to wait to do is, so a lot of times you'll see when a ballerina is breaking in their new pointe shoes, they're very creaky and they make this really cool, like creaking kind of breaking sound. So because these are my first pointe shoes and I'm a beginner at pointe, what was I trying to say? Oh, so these, when I'm breaking them in, they did not make any creaking sounds. And I think it's because they are a softer shoe. So I couldn't make the pointe shoe ASMR that I will be making someday in the future when I have different shoes. So yeah. It's very exciting for me. And also, I just love looking at them because they're so shiny and pretty. But, so, these are my shoes, and I'm just gonna wrap them back up. And I just want to add that, being on pointe is the best feeling in the world, and it kind of feels like flying to me. I don't know, I feel this sense of freedom, and I think that's what other dancers must experience, and that's why ballet is an obsession if it is. Like, you don't just kind of like ballet if you like ballet, like, you're obsessed with it or you're not. So yeah, those are my shoes, and so I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about, I'll go here first. So this is the little sewing kit that I got. It's by the same brand as my pointe shoes. So inside of it, I just put the remainder of the extra ribbon that I didn't use, and then the remainder of the elastic that I didn't use, just to have just in case. And then this is, oops, it's sort of coming undone. This is the thread. Oops. Well, so this is thread, and it is like a matching color, and then it's a certain thickness because it has to be stronger than just regular thread, because you want to be sure that when you're standing on pointe that your ribbons aren't going to just fall off, because that's really dangerous. And then this box is magnetic, so oops. So there's a couple of needles that are thick and sharp, and then this pair of scissors that I sort of I always have a hard time putting them back. There. So yeah, I keep this in my bag just to make sure if I need to sew something or fix a ribbon or fix the elastic or anything, that it's with me. And so, as as you're all most likely aware of, pointe shoes are not comfortable. And there are a lot of different methods that dancers will do. It's very customizable, and everybody figures out their own way of wearing their pointe shoes. So these are called Ouch Pouch, and I actually have the box right here, and they are described as cushiony fabric covered gel toe pads. So these just make it hurt a little bit less. And I put them over my toes, and then I put my tights over them, and then I'll put the pointe shoe on so that it stays secure. And that just helps cushion it a little bit. Some people use all different things, but these are what the professional pointe shoe fitter suggested for me to start off with. And then the other thing is I have these box liners, which goes, so it's just this sort of thing, and then because my left foot is slightly smaller than my right foot, this gives that little bit of space. It fills that little bit of space by placing it inside of the shoe, like that. And so that makes it so that, well, it just fits a little bit more securely on my left foot. So, by the way, something that I thought was really cool is, it turns out that this particular pair of shoes is from Russian Pointe's Jewels collection, and it's actually named Ruby. So, I was like really excited by that after I found out that I have my first pair of pointe shoes named after me. Like, that's amazing. So, I'll put this back, and then the last part of what I wear inside of my pointe shoes is so I keep it inside of this little bag because they're made of silicone, I think that's what it's called. And I have to keep them in cornstarch. So I don't want to make a mess and open it up, but there are these little gel things that I put over just my big toe, and it just sort of stays on my toe, and it's really weird. And the cornstarch, like, I don't like messiness, so it makes me really uncomfortable putting them on and taking them off, but it makes the shoes so much better for me to wear. So this is a temporary thing for me, but I guess keep talking about them. So everybody has different foot shape, so it's different for everybody when you're standing straight on your toes, where the pressure is, where your weight is going to fall the most. My big toe is longer than the rest of my toes, so all of the pressure when I go on pointe goes onto my big toe. And because I'm new to being on pointe, it's way too painful for me. So until the nerves sort of crawl back from doing it too much, I have to wear these toe covers on my big toe. And it's really weird, but it makes it so that I can do it without being in severe pain. So, yeah. So that's all for my Pointe Shoes stuff. Now I'm gonna dig around and show you one more thing. So this is just regular medical tape. And what I do with this is I get blisters in between my pinky toe and the second to last toe. I don't know if there's a name for it, but to prevent the blisters, I just put, come on, there we go. I put the tape around the entire toe, and so that I don't get a blister. So it's just regular medical tape, but it helps a lot. And I do that whether I'm wearing, I do it both for if I'm just wearing my soft shoes or Pointe shoes as well. So, they're supposed to be in this bag. Whoops. So these are my soft shoes, and I've had them for about 6 to 8 months, I want to say. I think 6 months. They're really, they're made out of stretch canvas, so they're extremely stretchy. And so they mold to the shape of my foot, like, perfectly, and they're extremely comfortable. And they are made by this brand called Cynthia King, and I found that brand on the internet because I was looking for a pair of vegan shoes, because these pads typically are made out of leather, and I didn't want to wear leather. So I found these, and they worked out really great. And then it turns out that in the past year, a lot more people have been requesting vegan shoes, so a lot of brands recently started carrying vegan shoes. So it's really exciting for me, and I'm gonna test a bunch of different ones out as soon as I can. But right now, these have been really durable, and I still don't need a new pair yet. So, but there's a brand called Grishko, and they have this shoe called Dream Stretch, and they're similar to this, but I'm interested in trying them out. I don't really like the color of these. They're too like salmon. I don't like that color. So the Grishko Dream Stretch are more of a light pink, and I prefer that. So these came pre-sewn, so I didn't have to sew the elastics by myself, and they're in this crisscross pattern like I mentioned some shoes do. Some dancers sew their pointe shoes like with elastics like that. And so yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Stretchy canvas. And they're super comfortable, and I like them so much more. I switched from non-stretch canvas to canvas shoes, or to stretch canvas, and it's so much better, I think. They're they might be a little bit more difficult if you need the extra support that the tougher canvas provides, but for me, I prefer the stretch canvas. So usually when I get to class, I will put tape on my toes so that I don't get blisters, and then, oh, I can't find the other one, but I keep these little fuzzy socks in my bag, and I'll usually do the first few exercises with the fuzzy socks over my slippers, so that my feet can really warm up before I start stretching them and bending them. Otherwise they can kind of hurt. And it's just really important to keep everything very warm in ballet because you're doing a lot of things that are unnatural to the body. So I have this little spiky ball. I call it a spiky ball. It's actually rubber, but it's pretty hard. And then when I'm standing up, I'll put my foot on the ball and roll it out, and it just loosens up the muscles, and that's what it loosens up the muscles and just sort of massages my foot and makes it better for dancing. So I like to use this before and after I dance. So awesome. So another thing I like to keep in my bag is leg warmers. So these are very long leg warmers. They cover my entire leg. They go from this little, so my heel goes through this hole, and then my toes will come out the end. Does that make sense? So it goes on my foot. So it keeps my feet warm, keeps my tendons warm. It keeps all the way up my thighs warm. And that's really important. I leave these on. I don't know if I'm going to so much in the summer because it's really hot here in California. So it may not be necessary. The studio might just be too hot and I'll just be sweating. But for the most part, I always wear these over my tights. And I keep them on for the duration of bar, and then I will take them off when we get to center. So these are nice. These are by the brand Body Wrappers, and I have them in black as well as pink. Let's see. This is just a packet of bobby pins because I use them for putting my hair in a bun. And these ones are kind of cute colors. That's just a basic thing that I have to buy all the time because I feel like every dancer will relate to this, but I mysteriously lose all of my bobby pins like every 6 months. Okay, so last but not least is I like to keep my bag stocked with an outfit to dance in just in case. So these are my Capizio tights, and they're my favorite. They're just this light pink color, and then they're transition tights, so it makes it really easy for, so you put your leg all the way through, and then this part, the bottom of the foot has a hole in it, so you can pull the tights over your toes, and then you can take it off, and then your foot is sticking out of the tights. So if you need to put tape or put on your toe pads, or whatever, it's really easy. You don't have to take the whole pair of tights off, which is annoying. So these are my favorite. I've had them for months, and they just last forever. They're really durable, and I like the color as well. And then this is just a little bodysuit. It is pink. I have a bunch of different ones. I have one that is like black, I have one that's red, I have one that's burgundy. I think that's it actually. But yeah, very stretchy, but soft too, because it's made out of like a stretchy cotton. So it's very comfortable to dance in. So I'll dig around here one more time, but I think I showed you. Oh, I didn't. I missed one thing. So this bag contains my stretchy bands. I call them stretchy bands, but I know there's like an actual term for them. But pretty much it's this stretchy resistance bands, and they're really helpful for stretching as well as different strengthening exercises. So I use them for both stretching and strength. Not really during class ever, but in my own time I will do, like, there's one exercise where you're holding on to one hand on each end, and then in the middle is your foot. And you pull, so there's tension, and you go from flex to pointed. It's really difficult, and it makes so that you have a stronger foot and calf muscles and stuff like that. And so yeah, that is one thing that I do, and I should be doing it more frequently, to be honest. Okay, so that is everything that I have in my ballet bag, and a bunch of information about my stuff. So if you are interested, I'm thinking about making a ballet ASMR video where I'm doing some ballet exercises, and I can even do like a teacher, sort of like ballet instructional beginners video or something like that. That is relaxing. But I'm sort of a perfectionist, and I don't really want anyone to see my dancing until I think it's like way better. But I might just have to get over that, because it's another ballerina trait where, like, you never think you're good, no matter what. So, yeah, that's definitely something dancers have in common, because we are all perfectionists in that way. But as an artist, I think it's okay to be that way, to an extent. To want the best in a non-self-destructive way. Yeah. So, I really hope that you enjoyed this. I know I was like a little bit hyper, but I hope it was relaxing anyway. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again with my next video. Good night.